We are led by very, very stupid people.
Well, folks, it is official. Election 2024 in the United States has come to a close, and the results are not that surprising, to be quite honest with all of you. Now, before I start, yes, I did vote for Joe Biden in 2020 before I ultimately made the decision this time around to cast my vote for Donald Trump. So, after voting in just 2 presidential elections, I am 2-0 when picking the winner overall. And also, to be quite honest, it feels weird. For the very first time in my life, I did something that I never imagined I'd ever do, which was voting Republican. But anyway, with that being said, along with me now being 2-0 when voting for the winner of a presidential election, it is now official that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States, along with him being the second president in U.S. history to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. So Grover Cleveland no longer is alone in that category. Now, while I wasn't shocked at all that he won the election this time around, what really caught me off guard was the fact that he actually won the popular vote. That is ridiculous. And despite the fact that Kamala Harris won in my home state, which is also her home state, by the way, she lost in the Central Valley, Orange County, and believe it or not, she nearly lost Sacramento. In addition, it also didn't help that she only won California by only 1 million votes or so. Now, for context, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama won California by usually around, 4 to 6 million votes. And in 2016, Hillary Clinton defeated Donald Trump by 30 points. Biden beat Trump by 29 points. Dominating numbers, I know. But in 2024, Kamala Harris beat Trump by only 17 points. So when you compare that to the last election in 2020, Kamala Harris lost 12 points from Joe Biden. So not only did she underperform in California, she didn't even match the numbers of both Biden and Hillary. She didn't even also come close to matching the numbers that Obama had in both 2008 and 2012. Like, literally. She put up an absolute stinker. And the worst performance by a Democrat in California since John Kerry in 2004, who only carried California by only 10 points. Now, to make matters worse, Kamala got screwed over by a lot of split-ticket voters. You know, people who vote for, Democrats here, Republicans there, on the same ballot. Now, I know this may sound hard to believe, but those people, just like me, did play a major role in this election. In fact, a decisive role. I'll repeat, I voted for Joe Biden in 2020, but for Donald Trump in 2024. Now, if you want proof that such creatures exist and are not a myth, look at the results that happened down ballot in the swing states, okay? For starters, North Carolina, one of my favorite states in the whole union. Donald Trump carried North Carolina by around a couple or so points. But in the governor's race, this is where shit gets crazy, by the way. The Democrat who won the state, he beat his Republican opponent by 14 points. Literally. Without any issues. He won in a landslide. In Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, and even Arizona. States that Donald Trump had won, but down ballot had all voted Democrat. Now, to be fair to the Democrats, despite this really awful night for them, they've managed to actually perform quite well in these states, especially in the Senate contest, which may surprise a lot of people considering how big the victory has been for Trump. But literally, don't let his victory this year fool you, okay? If there is any conclusion to be made from this election, the United States of America is a socially liberal yet fiscally conservative country. And to further prove this, pro-abortion laws in 7 of the 10 states where it was contested on, including in like places that voted for Trump, like Arizona, Montana, Missouri, it won. And to add more salt to the wound, abortion passed easily with 61% of the vote in Arizona. So this means that there were people out there, tons of people, who voted for Donald Trump, but at the same time crossed over and voted for abortion. Unbelievable. Just unfucking believable. Now, meanwhile in Congress, the Republicans easily steamrolled the Democrats within the United States Senate by gaining 4 seats, which means that their current seat total at the moment, which is 49 seats, will go up to 53. So even with people like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, the conservatives shouldn't really have a lot of problems in getting stuff done for Donald Trump. But as for the House of Representatives so far, a winner on that front has not yet been called. And we're probably not going to know who won the House of Representatives for probably another 3 to 4 days, even though it's looking more and more likely that the Republicans might hold on to it, which in turn would give the GOP complete control over the entire federal government for the next 2 years. So, with all those formalities out of the way, let's talk about why Kamala Harris lost. Now, first of all, as somebody who voted for Joe Biden 4 years ago, what I was looking for was somebody who would not only unify the country in light of all of the division and a global pandemic, I was also looking for somebody that would fix the damn economy. And unfortunately, Joe Biden just didn't do enough. And even if he had made it to Election Day this year, I think he would have lost as well. However, here's the thing. I do think he would have put up a better fight against Donald Trump than Kamala Harris did. Literally, I'm serious. I think maybe he would have squeaked it out in perhaps maybe Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, but I don't think he would have won either way. I think he would have made it closer, but I don't think he would have won. The Democrats needed to get away from both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They done one, but they didn't do the second. Which led to people like me, who were very disgruntled with the state of things, to cross over to the other side. It was very difficult for me to do such a thing, because in my heart, I am a liberal. I really am. I don't mind gay rights. I don't mind abortion, the legalization of pot, sex work, you name it. But in the end, there were a few things on my mind going into this election. Foreign policy, I was not a fan of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being absolute warmongers in the Middle East and in Ukraine, I was also not a fan of their poor handling of the situation on our southern border. I was not a fan of all of the identity politics. I was not a fan of them failing to do shit about crime. And lastly, the economy. Yeah, the economy. Stagnant. Not recovering fast enough. My own fucking brother cannot find a job. Inflation is up. And then you also got gas prices also being up. Like, shit hasn't gone down to like $4 sharp since like 2019 or so. Before COVID. Groceries and fast food is also priced absurdly. As a Democrat, I am very, very disappointed with Joe Biden. But more importantly, I am more disappointed with the Democratic Party's decision to go with Kamala Harris instead of holding an open primary. Literally. Why the hell did you go with somebody that most swing state voters were not going to vote for? Literally. Around 2019 to 2020, and let me tell you all a short story, okay? I was in early college, and I'm still in college now, but I now moved up to the university level. I was monitoring the Democratic primary. I was so hyped up of getting rid of Donald Trump at that time, okay? And the candidates that were on my mind at that time were Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, Cory Booker, and yeah, I guess Joe Biden. But I never imagined Kamala Harris as that person. And to add further context why, first of all, I remember Kamala Harris's rise to power within the state of California. She was once the DA of San Francisco, and as far as I know, she did a good job, even though it polarized a lot of minority groups. She was the Attorney General of California under Governor Jerry Brown, and she easily won a Senate seat. So for a while, she was on a roll. Like, she was going places. But the ultimate question was she fit to be president? The answer? Hell no. She was not fit to be the president of this country. It also didn't help that she was clearly the candidate of the elites. All of the A-tier, like, name celebrities that you all know and hate, like Taylor Swift, Cardi B, LeBron James, Bill Gates, etc., they all endorsed Kamala Harris. And it also didn't help that neocons like John Bolton, John Kelly, Liz Cheney, James Mattis, you name it, all of these neocons all endorsed Kamala Harris. Which led me to believe that this woman was worse for foreign policy than Donald Trump. Now, I get it. Donald Trump is a hardcore pro-Israel guy. But on the other hand, he was at least transparent and honest about where he stood on the whole conflict between Jews and Palestinians. Yes, I don't like where he stands, but guess what? He at least told me and all the voters up front, I love Israel. I love them very, very much. Kamala, on the other hand, she was like, two-state solution, she couldn't answer a damn question. She couldn't. And what's even worse was the fact that, yes, she got her money from AIPAC. Like, she's literally pro-Israel, just as like 90 or so % of DC politicians are, but also, here's something important to note. Kamala Harris's husband and stepdaughter are both Jewish. So, Kamala's stance on the situation in Gaza was very obvious. It was literally right under your noses. But with Donald Trump, he literally just said out loud, I love Israel. And Israel has a right to defend itself. So, with that all being said, Kamala Harris lost this election because, number one, she was uncharismatic. 2, unlikable. 3, a friend of the elite / establishment. 4, a total warmonger. And 5, she had no plan to fix this shit. Now, in 4 years from now, I want the Democrats to go back to the center. It's time to return to your roots. Well, not literal roots where you were all wearing KKK hoods, but you get what I mean. Back to the old economic policies of the 90s / 2000s. The Democrats, in order for them to win again in future elections, are to become fiscal Republicans. Americans agree with most of your social views. That's not the problem. We don't care. The issue is that your economic policy sucks. And you also need to clean the cities, which are your strongholds. That's what we ask of you. Please, fix your shit. Please. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this breakdown and also my rant on why Kamala Harris and the Democrats lost the 2024 presidential elections. So, take care, everybody. Stay safe, and peace out. Good night.